Hey, Monster Bass fans! Have you ever heard of the term BFS? Super duper trending right now within the fishing community in the US. But BFS stands for Bait Finesse System or Finesse Bait Casters, such as this one right here, the Shimano Corrado BFS Reel, and allow you to throw super light lures. Have you ever wondered how can a bait casting reel throw light lures? I mean, everybody believes that bait casting reels are made to throw heavy lures, right? And people don't believe it. You know, I make a lot of posts on my YouTube channel, right? My name is Jimmy Lee, Raw Fishing. I have a YouTube channel, Instagram, and people be like, you can't throw light stuff on a bait caster. But guess what? We live in a world of physics, and anything could be calculated using mathematical formulas, and as long as it fall in between the realm of physics, you can make anything possible. And today, in this video, I'm gonna explain to you how can a bait casting reel throw light lures. You ready to do this? Let's do it. All right, let's keep this as simple as possible. For regular bait casting reels, right, have you ever experienced where you cast your lure out and the lure fly out just a little bit and it slams to the left if you're right-handed, right, because you're casting this way? That is because your lure is just way too light for your setup. However, if you have a reel that's designed to throw light lures, well, you can make a light lure fly really, really far. I mean, some of these BFS reels are made so crazy that some folks are throwing even half a gram. So half a trout magnet, okay? For those who are not familiar with what's a trout magnet, it's a small little jig, 1/64 ounce, and it comes with a smaller plastic, and it weighs about 1 gram. That's around 1/32 ounce, right? But that is insane, right? And in Asia, there's even rods categorized as SUL, super ultra light. Isn't that crazy? Wow. But anyway, BFS reels could fit medium light, light, ultralight, and potentially even SUL super ultralight. But not all bait casting reels or BFS reels are made equal, so you guys have to do your own research. In this video, I'm not gonna go through all the crazy stuff out there. I'm just gonna explain to you the basic of exactly how a BFS reel works, okay? And with that said, I'm gonna talk to you about the most important thing out there, and that is the spool right here. Now, there's two things for the spool for BFS reel that make it really, really well for casting light lures. And the first thing, a lot of people, and I'm gonna address it right off the bat, I usually like to talk about a second, but I might as well do it, right? So I'm gonna pull this spool out here and I'm rotate it for you guys to see. As you see, it's super shallow. A lot of people be saying on my Instagram or YouTube, wow, look at that spool. How much line did you put on that? 10 yards? No, guys, no. Right now I have about 125 feet spooled onto the spool only, and it's 0.6 go, which is a way that in Asia, that's how they measure their line. They measure the line by diameters, and this thing is about 10-pound braid, like true 10-pound braid, okay? Very thin, and I still put some more on it if you look very closely, right? And that serves a purpose, two purposes actually with this wide spool, okay? First and foremost, in order for you to cast light lures, right, you gotta have a light spool. If the spool is too heavy, that's not gonna work. Remember how I told you when you try to cast that lure out and it flies and it turns and hits the ground? That is because that lure is too light for that spool. So we have aluminum here, this aviation aluminum, so it's pretty heavy duty, but super light, okay? Super light. When you cast a lure, that lure must be able to spin this spool to dispense line, okay? Unlike the spinning reel, that line can just spiral off the spool, right? The lure must pull the spool. So having this right here makes casting light lures possible. And the second thing is that wide spool right here allows the spool to dispense more line per rotation so that it could help that lure travel faster and further. Now, a lot of people have asked me, why can't I just take a regular size spool, you know, those deep spools, and just put line to the max capacity? That's a very great question, but you won't be using the line all the way at the end, you know, by the shaft. Therefore, you're actually adding too much weight to the total weight of the spool. So again, two things on these shallow spool. One, keep it light using light materials, and then also reduce the amount of line capacity because you don't need it. You know, I can't cast a football field with a 1/16 ounce jig head plus a smaller plastic. It's just not possible, okay? It's not possible at all, so you don't need to have that much. The second thing is this guy right here. If you look very close, this odd little red thing, the red thing is actually a sleeve to a micro bearing. That's right, micro bearings. Let me explain to you using an analogy for how micro bearings works. As I mentioned a second ago that your light lure must be able to start off the spool, right, to spin, right? Now, micro bearings, if those not familiar, there's actually balls within this little round little race, okay? And I'm gonna use the analogy of a tennis ball versus a bowling ball, okay? Which one is easier to start off spinning, right? Which one requires less force to roll? Obviously the tennis ball, all right? So by having the smaller balls, it makes this startup a lot easier. Kind of like a car too, because you got to shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? First gear first from stop position, right? You cannot start your car with fifth gear. It's not going to work. Not going to work well if it does work, okay? The next thing about micro bearings, they use a different material. A lot of companies will use ceramic hybrid micro bearings. Now, let me use another analogy. You ready for this? We have 2 cans of corn, okay? One is just an empty can. This other one is filled with the liquid and the corn kernels. Which one's easier to push? Obviously the lighter one, right? The one with nothing inside of it. The ceramic bearings is lighter than any other materials out there that they use. Like, you know, they use stainless steel balls, right? So yeah, that is what makes this BFS system work right here. You have your light spool, right? Shallow spool, and then you have small micro bearings with different type of materials. Obviously, you need a braking system that is tuned for these small, lightweight spools. For this guy right here, you know, I have an aftermarket spool, but fortunately, it does work with the stock standard FTB braking system from Shimano, so it's great. But there is actually another aftermarket spool, because, you know, BFS enthusiasts such as myself modify the crap out of the reels, all right? And there's one that's wider than this, lighter than this, and you have to slap on additional magnets on the side in order for it to work. And so there you have it, a simple explanation of how BFS reels work and how it has the capability of casting light lures. If you are interested in seeing me fish some BFS setups, feel free to check me out on Raw Fishing on my YouTube channel, as I have a lot of different setups for different type of fishery. The fish don't wait, get your BFS setups and get out there and have some fun.